there, everyone! Welcome to my channel Creepy Narratives. Today, I'm thrilled to share more spine-chilling stories that have actually happened to me and others who have experienced these so-called creepy scenarios. These incidents were so eerie, creepy and strange that they had us questioning the very reality that we knew. So, sit back, relax and prepare to be captivated by the enigma of these creepy narratives. Welcome to my nightmare. I think that you're going to like it. Enjoy. Let's start with story number 1. Story number 1. The Night of Mistaken Identity. Nestled in a peaceful Sussex village, my abode was one of 3 houses within a cozy mews, surrounded by nature's beauty. Little did I know that a seemingly ordinary night would soon turn into a surreal and terrifying encounter that defied all expectations. As the clock struck bedtime, I found myself drifting into slumber within the comfort of my bedroom and bathroom-adorned home. The events that unfolded that night, however, were anything but ordinary. Roughly 15 minutes into my peaceful repose, I was jolted awake by a series of loud bangs. Dazed and disoriented, I attributed the noise to the lingering effects of the horror movie I had watched earlier. I attempted to shake off the unease and drift back into sleep. But the tranquility I sought was short-lived, swiftly replaced by the cacophony of shouts that shattered the silence. The sanctity of my bedroom was suddenly invaded by a group of imposing figures wielding crowbars. Panic surged through me, and I found my voice stifled, unable to vocalize my fear. I instinctively turned to shield my girlfriend, an innocent and gentle soul, from the unfolding chaos. Amidst the chaos, the ringleader of this intruding gang demanded a bag of money, a bag that I had no knowledge of. My protests and confusion only seemed to incite their aggression. Amidst the chaos, I could hardly believe the surrealness of the situation. It was as if my reality had been hijacked by a script straight out of a movie. Desperation fueled my attempts to reason with these intruders. Struggling to comprehend their distorted logic, I offered laptops, money, and anything they desired to hasten their exit. But their demands persisted, and my confusion deepened. The ringleader's repeated insistence on a certain address number only added to my bewilderment. In the midst of their chaotic presence, a bizarre realization hit me. They had mistaken me for my drug-dealing neighbor, a wild and eccentric character who had immersed himself in a world of substances and erratic behavior. As the truth dawned upon the ringleader, their frustration manifested in shouts of frustration. At this point, I seized the opportunity to subtly defy their control. My attempt to de-escalate the situation led me to inadvertently quote lines from a movie I had watched the previous night, Mission Impossible 3. The screenwriter's words, designed to defuse a tense hostage situation, echoed in my mind as I tried to navigate the absurdity of the moment. The absurdity reached new heights as the intruders realized their grievous error and hurriedly retreated. But my ordeal wasn't over. As I barricaded my bedroom door, the sound of chaos continued next door. My drug-dealing neighbor, in a bizarre twist of fate, barged into my home for refuge, wielding a knife and a desperate need for help. The night wore on with a surreal combination of police statements, searches, and a sense of disbelief. Amidst the chaos, friendships frayed, tensions escalated, and the boundaries between reality and fiction blurred. The encounter had forever altered my perception of safety and exposed the unpredictable nature of human behavior. Let's go to story number 2. Story number 2. The Intrusion of Shadows. The quaint charm of leafy Sussex was shattered on a night that would etch itself into my memory as a nightmarish odyssey. My residence, nestled among a collection of 3 houses within a serene village, became a setting for a tale that defied the ordinary. As I settled into bed, the gentle rhythm of nature's night symphony accompanied my descent into slumber. Yet, barely a quarter of an hour later, the tranquility was disrupted by a series of disconcerting bangs. Blaming my heightened sensitivity on the horror movie I had watched earlier, I attempted to brush off the unease and surrender to the realm of dreams. But a rude awakening was on the horizon. The night air was soon filled with shouts, a cacophony of voices that heralded an unwelcome intrusion. The sanctity of my bedroom was shattered as the door burst open, and a group of shadowy figures wielding crowbars stormed in. Fear surged through me, leaving my voice trapped in my throat as I grappled with the surreal nightmare unfolding before me. My instincts compelled me to shield my girlfriend from the menacing figures, desperate to keep her safe from the impending chaos. The room was a symphony of tension, shouts, and confusion as I struggled to comprehend the reality of the situation. The ringleader, a towering presence among the invaders, demanded a bag of money, a bag that had no place in my reality. In the midst of the chaos, I found myself inadvertently quoting lines from a movie I had watched, a desperate plea for empathy and reason. As my words hung in the air, the reality of the situation deepened, revealing that these intruders had gravely mistaken their target. Their repeated demand for a specific address number signaled their confusion, a confusion that ultimately exposed their grievous error. In a surreal turn of events, the veil of confusion lifted, and the intruders' panic-filled retreat marked the end of their intrusion. But as their presence faded, a new ordeal unfolded next door, where my enigmatic neighbor faced his own version of chaos. Seeking refuge in my home, my neighbor's knife-wielding desperation bore witness to the chaotic absurdity of the night. As the hours stretched on, my reality transformed into a whirlwind of police statements, searches, and a tangle of emotions. The incident blurred the lines between reality and fiction, leaving an indelible mark on my psyche. The once idyllic Sussex village became a backdrop for a nightmarish tale, reminding me of the fragility of safety and the unpredictable nature of the human experience. Are you ready for story number 3? The Peculiar Encounter with Happy. The year was 2003, and I found myself working in a cannabis dispensary nestled near the vibrant boardwalk of Venice Beach. It was a place that attracted a diverse crowd, from locals seeking relaxation to the unhoused seeking solace. The blend of humanity was harmonious, and most interactions were peaceful. Yet, as with any place, there were moments that stood out in stark contrast to the norm. One such memory remains vivid to this day: an encounter with a man who went by the curious moniker Happy. The circumstances of this incident, suffused with an inexplicable chill and the pungent scent of intrigue, left an indelible mark on my memory. The weather that day was emblematic of the holiday season, was foggy, cold, and enigmatic. The yearning for comfort brought people to our dispensary's doorstep, seeking solace and perhaps a hint of holiday cheer. Little did I know that among the ordinary faces, an extraordinary figure awaited his turn. When the door swung open to admit Happy, an uncanny shift in atmosphere accompanied him. His presence seemed to usher in an inexplicable drop in temperature, as though he carried with him a lingering frost from some forgotten realm. Dressed in a time-worn leather duster and a well-loved cowboy hat, he projected an aura of antiquity that defied explanation. What truly set Happy apart, however, was the scent that heralded his arrival. An otherworldly stench clung to him like a shroud, a miasma that seemed to intertwine with the air itself. This odor defied comparison. It was neither the scent of decay nor the whiff of filth. It was an olfactory tapestry woven from the threads of morbidity, a scent that seemed to whisper secrets from a realm beyond. My initial exchange with Happy was relatively mundane, a simple request for him to remove his hat, a store policy to ensure transparency and security. His response, brusque and laden with defiance, held the promise of an enigma waiting to unfold. His gravelly voice resonated like echoes from forgotten caverns, bearing the weight of years gone by. As we conversed, I discovered the true extent of his peculiarity. Burn scars marred his forearm, a constellation of wounds that hinted at stories untold. Amid these scars rested a stick and poke tattoo. A crooked smiley face etched onto his skin, a mockery of mirth embedded in flesh. Yet, his introduction was startling in its simplicity: Happy. Despite my efforts to conduct a routine transaction, the exchange was anything but ordinary. His presence was a confluence of the eerie and the inexplicable, a collision of time, worn attire, and a fragrance that transcended definition. As I provided him with a bag of compassion grams, a token of solace offered to those in need, I was acutely aware of the disquiet that lingered in the air. When Happy finally departed, his scent remained as a spectral reminder of his visitation. Relief washed over me, mingling with curiosity and a touch of trepidation. Little did I know that his presence had cast a shadow of fear over my coworker, a threat that had lingered in the air like a harbinger of unease. Let's continue with story number 4. The unnerving intrusion. The tranquility of an ordinary evening in my friend's apartment was shattered by an unforeseen intrusion, an encounter that would etch itself into my memory with an unnerving permanence. Surrounded by friends, my friend's sister and another female companion, we had gathered for what promised to be a delightful evening of camaraderie. Little did we know that our sense of ease would be replaced by an unsettling air of unease. The presence of a seemingly harmless acquaintance introduced an insidious twist to the evening's narrative. As the night wore on, his behavior devolved from genial to disconcerting, shrouding the room in an atmosphere of palpable tension. The transformation was gradual, a creeping realization that the veneer of affability concealed a darkness that none of us had anticipated. A sense of foreboding settled over the room, casting shadows over laughter and camaraderie. This sinister shift was a reminder that appearances could deceive, that beneath the facade of congeniality lurked something far more disconcerting. The unsettling tension that enveloped us offered a chilling reminder that danger could materialize in the most innocuous of scenarios. My intuition, honed by years of experience and cautionary tales, whispered a warning against undue trust. As the evening progressed and the air grew thick with unease, I found myself questioning the nature of the acquaintance before us. What had initially seemed harmless now radiated a malevolence that was impossible to ignore. In the company of friends, vulnerability often takes a back seat to comfort and familiarity. However, this encounter served as a stark reminder that even within the confines of familiarity, darkness could lurk. Our idyllic gathering had morphed into an unsettling tableau, a stark juxtaposition of camaraderie and impending threat. The evening that had commenced with laughter and warmth concluded under a cloud of disquiet. Our newfound awareness of the potential dangers lurking beneath the surface cast a shadow over the hours that had passed. As the night drew to a close, we were left to ponder the true nature of the acquaintance who had so abruptly disrupted our lives. Are you ready for story number 5? The puzzling date. The realm of dating, a realm that sometimes gifts us stories to tell and, on rare occasions, tales that defy belief. This is a story of the latter, a date that spiraled into an uncanny and perplexing experience that still leaves me perplexed to this day. The scene was set in a quaint cafe, an ideal public space for a first meeting. In a display of caution, I had insisted on the safety protocol, meeting in a crowded, well-lit place and letting my loved ones know my whereabouts. As he strolled in, my date seemed unremarkable, but appearances can be deceiving. As we exchanged introductions and settled in, things took a surreal turn. Our exchange was innocuous until my choice of beverage revealed an unsettling demeanor. A mere refusal to order alcohol led to a puzzled expression, as if I were in the wrong for not indulging. But this was only the prologue to a stranger saga. Inexplicably, the notion of retiring to his abode kept resurfacing like a persistent undertow. Despite my insistence on public spaces, the suggestion of his dwelling remained a recurring theme. An atmosphere of discomfort pervaded as the proposal was floated, with his insistent tone raising eyebrows. Then, like a scene scripted from a thriller, his demeanor shifted. With a question that dripped with sinister undertones, he inquired, "You don't think I would hurt you, do you?" The humor I had attempted fizzled into an eerie silence. His unwavering gaze sent shivers down my spine, revealing an unsettling darkness lurking beneath his exterior. As I attempted to navigate this labyrinth of oddities, he presented another unorthodox proposition. With curious logic, he suggested that I follow him to his car, a vehicle without back doors, no less, to be whisked away to his dwelling. This confounding proposal raised more questions than answers and served only to amplify my discomfort. Fueled by intuition and a sense of self-preservation, I voiced my refusal to partake in his plans. The air was tense, a testament to the inexplicable strangeness of this date. My blunt honesty seemed to shock him, prompting a hasty retreat to the restroom. A sense of urgency gripped the situation as I observed him exit the cafe and speed away in his car. In the aftermath of this bewildering experience, I was left with a mix of emotions. Relief, disbelief, and an uncanny chill. The unanswered questions and inexplicable behavior colored this tale with an aura of surrealism, leaving me to ponder the enigmatic motivations that had driven this unsettling date. It's time for story number 6. The intriguing encounter. As the day embraced its twilight, an unanticipated event would thrust me into a situation that would both baffle and alarm me. Gathered with friends in the safety of my friend's apartment, the atmosphere was lighthearted and carefree, a perfect backdrop for an evening of companionship. Little did I know that this moment of camaraderie would evolve into an unexpected encounter. The intrusion came by way of an acquaintance, a familiar face who had crossed paths with us before. What began as a seemingly ordinary addition to our gathering quickly took an eerie turn. With every passing moment, the veneer of familiarity eroded, revealing an unsettling undercurrent beneath. As our conversation flowed, I was struck by the unsettling change in my acquaintance's demeanor. Politeness morphed into a patronizing condescension, a shift that went unnoticed by many but set off warning bells within me. The facade of normalcy he presented was belied by his passive-aggressive demeanor, an enigma I couldn't decipher. Oddities continued to mount, culminating in an encounter that defied logic. An innocuous water bottle became a catalyst for inexplicable behavior. He attempted to take possession of my belongings and even claimed the bottle as his own. The absurdity of the situation, paired with his unwavering conviction, raised an unsettling feeling that something more sinister lurked beneath the surface. In the midst of our exchange, a gut feeling tugged at me, warning me of an impending darkness. With each interaction, the disquiet grew, and I found myself confronting an unnerving reality. His actions, his demeanor, all pointed to a man with motivations beyond the ordinary, a revelation that sent shivers down my spine. A disconcerting twist took the form of lewd gestures, an inexplicable display that stood in stark contrast to the jovial atmosphere we had anticipated. This behavior wasn't the realm of harmless humor, it was a deliberate attempt to sow discomfort and unease. His crude actions persisted, punctuating the encounter with a disturbing undercurrent. Amid the turmoil of emotions, a crucial decision presented itself. Should I be alone with this individual? The unease that had nestled in my heart drove me to exercise caution. The prospect of isolation with him became a looming specter of danger, a realization that urged me to prioritize my safety above all else. With firm resolve, I insisted on locking him out, a decision that was met with a peculiar response. His nonchalant agreement stirred an unsettling sensation, intensifying my conviction that his intentions were far from benign. The culmination of his actions, the odd gestures, the insistence on isolation, painted a disconcerting portrait of a man unhinged. The night ended with my heightened awareness, my senses attuned to any movement outside the door. The mysterious appearance of a second individual, a curious figure who seemed connected to the situation, only added to the enigma. The events that transpired left me shaken, my sense of security undermined by the sinister dance of intentions and actions. In the aftermath, I was left to grapple with an encounter that defied explanation. The inexplicable darkness that had intruded upon a night of camaraderie served as a stark reminder of the inherent vulnerability of human interactions. In the realm of safety, one must heed the whispers of intuition, for they might just be the guiding light that leads us away from the abyss.